Welcome back to 13th Seat. Today we're out roaming around with the Markhor 45 from Vanquest. Now, this is a brand new pack for 2018. Just now they are doing pre-orders on this pack, a discounted pre-order price, but ahead of the full launch, which is going to happen I think the last weekend of May, if I remember correctly. I think they're shooting for that last week of May. So had a ton of questions on social media, and I wanted to make sure I kind of got as much of this taken care of now as you're kind of looking at, you know, should I do a pre-order or something if you're looking for a bag like this. This is a 45-liter pack. This is a big pack. There's a lot to cover and go over on it, and because there's just so many ways to customize it. But that's kind of what we're doing out here today. We were out yesterday doing a bunch of walking around, a bunch of hiking with it. It was really windy. It was a beautiful day though. It didn't really translate well to get any audio, so we're kind of tucked in the middle here. We stopped, saw this felled tree, and figured it'd be a good spot to talk to you guys for a minute and break into the start of the video here before we kind of go back and break down into the inside. While we're talking about the outside though, we have the rifle on the back here. This is a 16-inch Savage B22. It's got full stock on it. It also has a silencer on it. This is the Halcyon modular silencer in its full configuration from AAC. That video we just wrapped up over the weekend, and it should be going live prior to this video, I believe. So definitely, if you're interested in that, check it out. But I say that to say, you know, with the suppressor on here, it's a little over 22 inches of barrel length, plus the stock, and I think the bottom is dropped out. But what we've done here, there's a panel on the back that you can flip down, and you can. So they call it their durable arms management system, or DAM, D-A-M. Basically, it's kind of like a beaver tail dam that you construct, and we'll talk about it more later. I wanted to show it to you on here. This big orange buckle on here, there's actually a couple of these straps that are inside the pack for using inside. I took it outside and just wrapped it out here because I didn't have another one with me, and used it that way, but we'll get more into the internals here soon. There are straps, all kinds of different things to do. I just want to show you in this configuration before we get into what's probably going to be more used by most folks as opposed to walking around with an exposed rifle outside. There is a way to get basically this entire rifle inside this pack so none of it's showing on the outside if you wanted to, and we'll get into that as well. And I know I got a lot of requests, you know, what's your favorite go bag or bug out bag or whatever the case may be, and as far as for a small like get home bag or something, this is probably going to be a little too big. But as far as something else, we'll talk about that in another one. Let's I want to get back out and we'll do some more hiking around, and then we'll come back and we'll talk to you guys. Now I know how Les Stroud felt setting up all those camera shots. So working with your straps here is pretty easy. On the bottom here, you've got two tabs here on each side on the end of the buckle that allow you to loosen it up. To cinch it down, all you have to do is pull forward. Cinches this your waist strap down nice and tight. It has your those same Vanquest keepers, so you can roll this guy up if you wanted to and cinch him down so they're not hanging loose. To release, obviously, you can click the buckle in and out as well if you're so inclined. Up top here, you've got plenty of extra elastic in here, and then of course obviously your nylon to keep it from over expanding. Obviously you guys know the point of that is so that when you're out and you're exerting yourself and you're breathing in and out, you're taking big deep breaths or you're moving, this doesn't constrict your chest. It still has that kind of movement that it'll give you without letting your straps kind of get away as you're bending and moving around and so forth. Pulling on your straps here, very easy to cinch this up nice and tight, and then to release you can lift up on these guys right here and they will loosen right up. Oh, also on your strap here, you've got an emergency whistle. I won't blow on it here this close to the camera because I don't want to blow out your eardrums. So we're done for the day here. The sun's going down, but let's go over this pack here real quick. Now I talked about the durable arms management system here on this Markhor 45, and I took this strip out from the inside and we'll show you where that was originally. And this just allows you to pull this guy right out. Again, this is that Savage B22 with the Halcyon silencer on here from AAC. We've done reviews on both the rifle, the optic, and also, let's see if I can lay this down here without it sliding away and getting this all scratched up, maybe. All right, awesome. So we've done reviews on the rifle, the optic, and the silencer video is one of the most recent ones that should be up and posted by the time this one is. So let's talk about this system right here. So what I've done is I've put it together down here. Actually, I kind of rig this one over here so it would click in. It's actually one of the many ways you could put an extra part of support on there. But there's basically two little tabs down here on the bottom of this that loop in with this bottom segment. And we'll show you how this goes up, but we're just kind of reverse deconstructing it here since this is how we had it set up. So these guys pull off of there, and that simple addition of these two little things add a ton of functionality here, and you'll see some of that thought process that went into this as we continue to go through this bag. So anyway, these will actually click in right up here, and they also provide some extra compression as well as holding this guy in place. Now what I'm going to do right now is, we talked about this hiking axe here. I'm actually going to pull this out and move it because my friend, who is awesome and let me borrow this guy, I am going to buy one of these. I don't know if I'm going to have the skill to make it look just like this, but he sharpened this really well. So this is actually kind of sharp, and I don't want to cut myself while I'm talking to you. Now that's out of the way, this guy clips on both sides, right here and there, and you can use it as another compression strap, and this is what's called the sport side. And wow, this thing has gotten beat up and dirty. Not like injured, but at least this thing does not look brand new and shiny like it did just 2 weeks ago. Maybe I should have taken some product pictures beforehand. Anyway, maybe I'm digressing. But this is the sport side. It's got your shock cord in here. This is user replaceable, so you know, if you wear this out, you stretch it out, you can always replace it yourself. You've got the duck bill on the bottom so that when you're putting things in here, I'll grab this again, just to give you an idea of some of the things that you can do. You can put some of these straps, like this one for example, you can actually strap this guy in right here, and these are adjustable so that you can, you know, determine your length and width. I think we put pictures up on social media of hiking poles in here. I'd strap my tripod to it, and the axe on here as well. Now, there are so many different options that you could use on this. You could take these out and put these somewhere else. These are totally adjustable. You see this one's a little lower than this one. You can move these on any of these positions here, or pretty much anything that's your MOLLE webbing here. You also have, there's a ton of other, I'm not going to get into them all. You have some extra webbing and strapping up here to kind of cross strap, weave all different kinds of tools in and out. Pretty cool, pretty clever stuff. We're not going to get too much into the weeds on that here today as far as some of the different techniques. If you guys request those, we may follow up on them, but we're kind of going to hit the highlight features here of where we're at. So anyway, I mentioned this is the sport side. On the other side, so you can unclamp this. Speaking of which, by the way, we'll go into another part of this. On this side, you have some more Velcro. You've got MOLLE webbing on here, so you could attach some pouches or whatever. You also have inner pouch right here you can get into if you wanted to turn this into like a map pouch, map pocket, some admin stuff. You could put that in here, or what it's also designed for is to put a SAPI plate in here if you wanted to as well. My thoughts on that would probably be along the lines of if I was going to run a pack like this, I'd probably be using something like some of the ultralight high density polymer type stuff like from ar500.com that we're going to be reviewing here shortly as well. Put something like that in there just to keep the weight down on your pack, you know, so you're not wasting on armor. I mean, chances are you're not hiking around probably in a place where you're worried about getting shot in the back through your pack, but who knows? Maybe that's your thing and you're into that. To flip it around kind of like the other one, just simply slide these off of here. They will come in and out, and then you can flip it around, put it on the other side. For brevity's sake here, I'm not going to flip it around, but that's exactly how you flip it around. Like I said, you can hang it down, put it together with these little tabs, makes your little web foot down here, which is pretty clever. This guy right here is a great addition because this, and you've got your MOLLE webbing here, this clips in right there. Now, your straps are undone, so you can pull your pack forward, but then this isn't going to flop down and fall off when you unclamp these. So that's a pretty nice feature. While we're in the front here, you've got a little pouch here down at the bottom. We're going to kind of utilize this for a couple different things. And this thing is, God, this thing is stuffed full. And you'll see that in just a minute. So down here I have my rain fly cover. This is treated material so that, you know, you are treated on here so that it is water repellent. Obviously it's not waterproof. For me, even with water repellent materials, if I can, I would like to use a cover on it. Just because it's honestly the smarter thing to do. You don't want to get your whole pack soaked if you don't have to, especially if you have a small, and this is one of the lightweight covers here. I mean, this thing weighs 1.5 ounces maybe, if that. And Anyway, so this pouch down here pulls out, and you can use this in a number. You can use it from the inside out, and we'll show you that later, or from the outside in, like you just saw it here. You also use this to stuff a pair of shoes in here. These have to be smaller hiking shoes, but if you wanted something to get in here that wasn't going to get into the inside of your bag, this would be a good option there. Obviously, if you're in a survival situation and you wanted to make sure you had extra visibility while you're hiking, and you could leave this hanging out, and this orange, yellowish orange is really, really visible. And hopefully the white balance on the camera does a good job of picking that out. Anyway, that's where we are there. I'm going to put that back in there for now. I'm not going to put my rain fly back in there for now. I'll pack that up at the end of the video when we're done here. Since we're talking about the bottom before we fold this guy open, you've got your MOLLE attachment points on the bottom. You've also got some other straps down here to secure gear as well, like sleeping bags, sleeping pads, mats. You know, pretty much everything you can think of that you would want attached to the bottom of this, you're going to be able to with these couple different things on here. I talked before about the Hypalon on the sides, which is basically MOLLE, advanced type of MOLLE webbing, so it saves a lot of weight and it doesn't look as tactical, especially if you're out on the trail and you want to look like your average everyday hiker. If you've got it set up in this configuration, minus the patches anyway. And this is the only morale patch spot on here, by the way, so it's not like it's done up unless you flip this over to the tactical side. Water bottle pouches in each side here. The straps on the side have a couple little attachment points. You can cinch it down. This thing, by the way, is completely user configurable, so that you can configure it to your exact size. These straps on the side here, when you do your waist, you can actually adjust this in and out for your girth. So the bigger or smaller you are, you can tighten up these side ones so that it pulls the pack closer to you, both at the bottom and again at the top. We might as well talk about that too. There's a lot to go through here. Hopefully you guys are keeping up with this. I mean, it's not hard to keep up with, but as far as slightly different format, because I'm just going to kind of go through, rather than be dry about all the details, go through as I'm going through the bag and just kind of unpack it in that regard, rather than just rattle off a bunch of numbers up front. All those hard details that I may gloss over or that I may cut short, just so this video isn't an hour long, will be at 13cgunreviews.com with the companion article. So here, your yoke top is adjustable, and as you can tell, you can move this guy all the way down to here or all the way up. Obviously, that's important if you have a shorter torso or a longer torso, right? The taller you are, the more you're probably going to move this up. The shorter you are, the more you're going to move it down. That's a nice added feature. You can tell all the padding on the back here, this is set up to allow for a lot of venting. Now, I was out hiking around today. I didn't get sweaty on my back at all. Keep in mind, now the sun's dropped down, I've got my hoodie back on. I think today it was close to 60 degrees, I think, at one point today. Probably the peak of the day. Nice and windy though here today. Not crazy, but still windy, so cool. But I didn't have any issues with that. That's going to be a follow-up later on, facebook.com/gunreviews. You can check out some of our social media pages as we go through and we continue to test this. This is going to be my kind of go-to backpack for a couple of trips we have coming up this summer, so definitely stick around for that. As I'm going through, this is adjustable as well. You can slide your chest strap up and down here. You've got little keepers here. I always like to hang a carabiner off the front of mine. This is actually a small one. There's a couple different uses for these. I'm not going to get bogged down in the details of some of my personal preferences, but there's that. The adjustment straps up top here for your strap. So how far off your back or close to it your pack is going to sit. In addition to using these shoulder straps, you can adjust with this. Now that is a pretty cool feature. Most of your high-end packs will have something like this, but if you're not familiar with a high-end quality pack, you may not be familiar with some of these different straps, suspension straps, whatever different type of name they have. We've got this handle here. We've got 1, 2, and 3 handles, one on each side, one on the top. So if you're grabbing your gear out from something, trying to get in and out of the car, trunk, your tent, whatever, you've got that. Let's see, what else do we want to touch here on the front? I talked about this a minute ago in front of there while I was waiting for the sun to finish doing its thing. And I think we need to get into here. So you can set these pouches up however you want. For me, up top here, this top pouch, I'll show you what's actually the perfect size to fit in here. But what I have in here, I have a couple of mints. It goes a long way to have just a really quick, easy way to pull out a mint or two. They're small, they don't get in the way, and when you open it, they fall, I've got a couple main things in here. One thing, hearing protection. I told myself I wasn't going to bog down details. I won't. I have a cat tourniquet and a Israeli emergency bandage in here, and I also have a very small knife. So in here, this pouch can be accessed two ways, from here, or when we open up inside, you'll see a zipper to get into it from when this part of the pack is opened. The top opening isn't quite as big as the inside. The inside opening is a little bigger, so if you put something big in here, keep that in mind. This is a cool little organizer pouch. We'll get down to the details of some of these. And this one I haven't set up yet, so I think I'm gonna do a follow-up video on what I put in some of these different guys. This is their smaller personal organizer, and this actually fits perfectly in that top spot. But I like to have some emergency medical gear close at hand, so I don't have to hunt for it, and it's exactly where I need it, same place all the time, and that's what I use this top pouch for. That cat tourniquet and Israeli emergency bandage, boom, it's there. I don't have to get into what's in here. You know, in an emergency, you want that tourniquet as handy as possible. Obviously, you can strap it to the outside, but I've never had to use a tourniquet on myself anyway. So anyway, I digress. This organizer will sit right in there. You've also got a couple other things in here, gloves, and I'll try not to talk too much about the stuff that's in here. This is another one of Vanquest organizers. This one's actually got a lot of features, a lot of functionality. And we're gonna go through this later, but I've got everything from an eating tool in here, a couple things. I've got my Vaseline cotton balls, I've got flints, I've got a regular lighter, I've got a multi-tool, I've got a knife, glow stick, you name it, I've got it in here, some spare batteries. We'll probably go through the details of what's in a couple of these kits if you all are interested at another point in time. Now in this top pouch as well, I have a small emergency poncho, as well as some hand warmers so that I can get to them in a hurry too. Now these hand warmers are actually gonna get relegated to another spot here pretty soon, because it's honestly warming up pretty quickly here, and it's not as important to get to those. And this stuff, gloves, you know what? I'll worry about doing that later. We'll zip that back up. Let's get down into the, you know what, let's talk about a couple of details as we get this guy opened. I mentioned the 45 and the Markhor 45 gets into the capacity of the bag, 45 liters total capacity. This bag empty weighs pretty much exactly 6 pounds. Now I weighed this on my small kind of postal scale. I had to kind of set it up and angle it to get it on there. If you're looking for a minimalist lightweight pack, you're probably not going to select something like this. However, if you're looking for something big enough to pull double duty on and off, there's a plastic insert in here, like a high density, or not high density, but a lightweight thermoplastic in here, kind of, I don't want to call it a Boltaran or something like that, but it's really strong, it's really sturdy, and is probably a much better choice than using an aluminum frame. It's also extremely light. So anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later on, but that's what's going on in the back here. It's got a pretty nice curvature. Obviously the aluminum ones you can kind of bend your own shape, but once you only get one shot at bending those aluminum ones right, you try and bend them back, they're snapped, they're compromised, and they're kind of toast. Anyway, speaking about taking out that plastic insert and then your waist belt here, you could shave off between the waist strap and that, you probably shave off close to a pound, maybe even a touch over a pound. So you're talking about dropping this pack down to 5 pounds. Part of that is due to the construction. It's made of both 1000D military grade Cordura and 500D Cordura. So basically what that means is all the high wear areas are going to be protected by the 1000D, and then in areas where are less wear prone, they're going to go with 500D to cut down on the weight. That's why a pack this size is coming in right at 6 pounds. Anyway, so you've got 2 zippers here. You can bring it down. We'll start unzipping it, start unpacking this guy. I'm going to try and actually leave everything in here so that you can actually see what it looks like as we open it. So I've undone these two buckles here that come on the side. This front panel is still connected with this. We're going to unzip it and show you what's in here. See, we're completely in frame. All right, pull our sides down here. And boom, there we go. So there's that inner big zipper that I was talking about to get to this pouch here. There's the 2 different ways to access it. You've also got two different pouches here. You can actually see your gear inside here. So, you know, we've got various light sticks, glow sticks, different kindling type, very extremely lightweight kindling type material, like some dry cotton balls, as well as cotton balls impregnated with Vaseline. The importance of having some dry ones there is, you know, if you're using flint to start it, a spark on your dry, fluffed up cotton ball will ignite like that. You get impregnated with Vaseline, and it's going to be harder to start with a spark. Something to keep in mind. If you haven't, again, I'm trying not to get too distracted here with that. Various other items in here. I mean, I've got this thing packed up with stuff. I've got some extra food bars in here, some CMMG snacks, things I like to keep. I always love to keep a beanie cap. I like to keep a regular cap in case my cap blows off. You get out in the sun, you spend a lot of time outside. It can wear on you. This is actually my personal organizer, or smaller personal size maximizer from Vanquest. I love this. I put it in here just, I don't know. I put it in here because the stuff that's in here, this isn't a fully complete pack for me. I haven't fully kitted it out the way I would like to, but inside here, this is one of my EDCs, and I've got everything that I kind of need in here. Just in case, you know, something happened while I was out there. I mean, you know, it's not like I was hiking that far away, you know, while I'm hiking around all the property here and neighboring properties that they let me do that. So if you notice here, I've got a couple of dry bags in here. 3 of them actually. I've got a 10 liter, 5 liter, and I think this might be a 3 liter. This one's kind of shrunk down. So I put some stuff in here. You've got options when you get a pack, right? You can get one with a bunch of pouches and pockets and all these different things, and I love some of that stuff depending on the application. When I get a big pack like this, I want options inside of it that I can organize how I want. So these are like having your individual pouches, which aren't there, and the benefit of using these dry sacks is your pack can get soaked and all your stuff in here is going to stay dry. So I have extra pants. I have a pair of a base layer in here so that I can stay warm if I wind up being stuck outside it's too cold. Extra fleece, dry socks, all this different stuff. I won't get bogged down into it, but the fact is, even if I go into the water with this pack and I come out, assuming I'm not submerged for a long time, anyway, all this stuff is going to be dry. I can completely strip down and I completely put on a new pair of clothes and be fine. The one exception there obviously would be shoes, if you didn't have a set of shoes that were protected. Anyway, so we're going to pull some of these out just so you can take a look at them here and get an idea the size-wise of what you're looking at inside here. So in addition to that, this is a bivy cover. This is one of the actual Milsurp Tyvek part of the extreme cold weather sleeping bag set. This is the outer one. And what is this actually called? Now that I'm thinking about it, this is technically a bivy cover. Just says bivy cover. I don't know. I was not in the military. However, this thing is basically waterproof, well, rainproof anyway, element proof, and will do a good job of keeping you dry. And it's big enough where I can kind of get in here. I could probably fit this pack inside here with me. Smaller packs I could fit inside this thing with me if I got stuck outside overnight, and that way I don't succumb to the elements. So that's why I keep something like this with me. I didn't put it on the inside. I'm just kind of showing you what you can do on the inside of the pack versus on the outside. I've got one of my favorite things in the world, a hammock. Now this is not a lightweight or small hammock, obviously. Check this guy out. It's got a decent amount of weight to it as well. It's not really you can use it for a backpacking hammock, absolutely, but generally you would want something a little lighter than that. But this thing is awesome to sleep in and just rest in. It's huge. I've got a alcohol stove here. You can use denatured alcohol in there, a couple other things. Also in here, I have one of the very small, these things are pretty neat, they only run like $5. It's an emergency sleeping bag. It's not like a Mylar emergency blanket, which I have in here. This is kind of like, more like a bivy cover. I can reflect some heat in. It's really small. This thing weighs maybe 2.5 ounces. Technically they're reusable. I doubt you would get a whole lot of usability out of this long term, but as far as an emergency item to keep on hand if something happened, definitely something to keep in mind for that. Now, the obligatory Nalgene bottle. I know a lot of people have kind of stopped carrying some of these because they want something to be able to boil their water in, to cook in, do different stuff like that. I still like to carry these because sometimes I like to protect some of the contents that are inside here. I wear contacts, and I have a pair of eyeglasses in here, so if my contacts pop out, whatever, I have eyeglasses in here. It can't get crushed. Well, it can't. The chances of it being crushed in here are slim to none. I can filter water. I actually have the water filter right in here, one of the Sawyer Minis. I can filter my water, which for that I would use, I have it sitting right here, but normally I use 1 liter, the little bottles of water, just a regular bottle of water like this. And you can connect the end of that Sawyer water filter in there, filter water into this, into the other one, and then you carry some extra water. I have another rag in here. I have some various other different things in here. I have a lighter in here. I have some other fire starting materials in here if I need it. I actually have a regular, well not regular, but lightweight, super strong fork, knife, and spoon in here, as well as a kind of multi-purpose rag to kind of keep most of it from bouncing around. I have a small little P51, P38 can opener in here. I don't remember which one's in there. Obligatory mug that I can actually put some water in here and heat this up and boil some water over that stove. Like I said, this isn't fully set up here, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of some of the stuff you can put in here. A small camp shovel, folding camp shovel in here. You're gonna get one of those, make sure you get a decent quality one. Don't buy the cheapest one you find on Amazon, because if it's something like that, you may need it. I also keep a lightweight tarp in the bottom. Now I have other bags, so this is a lightweight tarp, standard tarp. And inside of here, I actually have one thing, some emergency food rations. This is a 2,400 calorie bar. It's 5 years shelf life. I throw in the bottom of my pack, forget about it, replace it once every 5 years. Obviously, if you haven't tried one of these, you need to try them before you count on it. Even as an emergency food supply, they are not exactly the most tasty things in the world. You need to figure out how it's going to affect your stomach, how it's going to affect your bowel movements later. And also you need to keep in mind, these things are, generally speaking, kind of dry. They take a tremendous amount of water to fully enjoy and digest. We'll leave it at that. So keep that in mind. I need to leave that out. I have another pair of hearing protection that just drops in there. You can obviously burn these as well as to help you do a little fire starting. So I mentioned these outside straps on here. Here's another one of the straps that was inside that I took to move outside to lash stuff down and strap stuff down in here. I had another glow stick. These glow sticks look like they came from Wally World. They did. After Halloween, I'll generally go to the clearance section, and the day after Halloween these things go half price, so they're 50 cents each. If you can wait and they still have them a week or two after Halloween, they go 75% off. That's when I buy them. And normally every third Halloween, you'll find a big stack of these for $1 each. I'll buy, 30, 40, 50 glow sticks, and you're talking about being out $10 for a ton of glow sticks. These things glow actually pretty well also. And if you don't use them, you have them for the kids. You've got Velcro up and down the sides here as well, so that you can kind of use this for whatever you want. Shout out to Vulture Equipment Works. Cool group of guys. We've been using some of their lubes, and they make some pretty cool knives as well. But this is a solar reflective patch, and that's why I left this in here. If you get into a situation where you're in the dark, you need to signal something like that, or say somebody shines a light on you, the moonlight, whatever. These things are the newest Coast Guard approved reflective material, and these things are insanely reflective. Take it, stick it on the outside of your bag. Obviously I got my other patches on here, but you've got something nice and reflective on your back that if you're looking to get rescued, you'll have something to go along with that regard. I've got a hydration bladder in the back here. I've actually got it stuffed in the actual insulated thing. You've got a hanger here for it. You can loop your straps in and out right here so that you can get in and out as far as your tubing. And there's, on your straps, there's also cordage and loops to keep that as well. This is compression strap down, so depending on how much you wanted to put in here, it goes all the way to the bottom. You can use it for that. And there's compression straps down at the bottom for it also. So I wanted to talk about using this other pouch right here if you wanted to do something just a little bit different. So you take this guy, bring it out, and then grab our rifle. Let's see here. There we go. That's one of the reasons why I want to leave some of this stuff out here and not get too in depth in that. So you've got your rifle there in the bottom, and check that out. Now with the silencer on here, you're not going to be able to zip it up, but let's take this off of here. And again, this is that Halcyon from AAC. Had a lot of fun doing this review. So definitely go ahead, check that out if you're interested in learning some more about that. And you zip up all the way completely. We'll do it to show you here. Boom, there you go. You're zipped all the way, obviously over here. You can zip the rest of the way up. I'm not going to because we still got more to talk about in this bag here. But you've got now just, you know, you're not putting an SBR in there or a pistol AR, something like that. You've got a full 16-inch barrel on here, plus, which would be here, plus the stock. You've got a full, nice overall length here to be able to fit into this bag. So definitely that's something, oh, there we go. That's something to keep in mind, is some of the versatility and functionality of the bag itself. So if you want to talk a little bit about the dimensions, outside it's 28 inches high, it's 15 inches wide, and it's 8.5 inches deep. Obviously, compression straps some of that down. Your main compartment is 26 inches high, 12 inches wide, and 6 inches deep. At 13cgunreviews.com, we'll go ahead and put some of the specifics of the rest of the pouches in different areas in there, just so we don't get bogged down in that. We talked about some of the material construction, the 1000D as well as the 500D. It is fully treated, the body is fully treated with that durable water repellent. We talked about the polycarbonate frame inside there. You know, we might as well pull that out here while we're talking. We got the YKK zippers on here and stuff like that. This is one of those areas like where the 1000D is up here to help prevent rubbing. And you can pull this up. And there's your frame right there. Since we still got a few things in there, I'm not going to pull this frame out right now. But it is, as you can tell, it's cut and molded here for that extra rigidity and stability there. So one of the things I get asked a lot is what this actual orange material is. And that is 210D ripstop nylon. It's pretty robust fabric. I really haven't had any issues with it in my other bags. I'm assuming this is the exact same stuff that's in like that Trident 31 that I have, that I did a review on about a year ago when I took it down to the Caribbean. It's pretty, this is the tough mesh fabric, this kind of see-through mesh fabric here. Generally speaking, I try not to put anything sharp in it just because I'm paranoid something like this is going to rip and tear pretty easy. But even with that, there's some in that Trident 31, and on the top of my camera that I always stuff in and out of there, it rubs, that metal insert where like the hot shoe is, rubs up against these all the time, and it hasn't damaged it. So that leads me to believe it's pretty tough, even though I don't purposely try and stress it that much. Obviously, we got our barn cats here. That's Lucy, that's Leia. They are a couple of awesome cats, crazy great mousers, and you see them make their appearances from time to time in the videos. I get asked about them a lot also. Not only are we starting to lose our light, but as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking this video is probably going to wind up being like half an hour long, so we're going to need to wrap it up. There's still a lot of tips and tricks on using this bag, setting it up, and carrying different equipment inside and outside we could really get into. And I know we get requests for seeing what's in some of these pouches and stuff like that. If that's something you're interested in, leave us a comment down below. Leave us a comment on Facebook, facebook.com/gunreviews. Let us know if you'd like to see a follow-up video, what you'd like to see in it, and if you're interested in seeing some of the stuff that I put in, some of the stuff that I put in my packs. I'm more than happy to get into that at some point too, if there's an interest there. I know we focus in a lot on firearms accessories, but we get a lot of requests for this other stuff too. So if you want to see that, let me know. Give us feedback, and if something you guys want to see, we'll put it out there. Thank you again. If you want to support us, and the best way to support us is actually just sharing the content if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a share when you see our content. It helps to spread it out there, bump it up in the algorithms, and kind of fight against the suppression from the various groups, be it Facebook, YouTube, and the like. If these videos and posts don't get that interaction, they get bumped down the algorithm, nobody sees them, and of course I'm just a guy, I like to say I'm just a guy in a cornfield talking to you guys. Obviously we're on the other side of the cornfield right now, but the point being is that, I don't have any, like money coming in from any companies or anything like that. I don't take money from any companies. So I can't sponsor posts or do anything like that. My wife would kill me if I did something like that. So I try and stay locked into doing everything as kind of free as I can, as far as not sponsoring anything or doing, posts and things like that to share their reach. So that's the best way you can support us. Also, sign up for our newsletters, 13cgunreviews.com. If we get banned from YouTube, banned from Facebook, over on the right-hand side of the page there, you'll see a spot to sign up. And that way you can stay in contact with us to whatever platform we move from there going forward, so that you guys don't lose touch with us, and you can still get the information and content that you want, because YouTube, Facebook, they could flip a switch tomorrow and ban all of the Right to Keep and Bear Arms channels. So that's something to definitely that would help us out. We won't promise we won't spam you. We don't send more than one email a week. Generally, it's about one every 10 days. So if you're not seeing the emails and you are signed up, check your spam box. Also, if you're on Google, check Gmail. Check the promotions and social tab up there to make sure our emails aren't going in there and then you're missing them. Like I said, it's only one every 7 to 10 days, so it's not like there's a lot that's going to be coming at you anyway. Thanks again, everyone. Like I said, share the content. Subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate it. And leave us that feedback. We want to know what you want to see, and we're more than happy to do it if we get the requests. We'll talk soon. Stay safe. So one of the things I get asked a lot is what this actual kind of orangish fabric is here. This is 210D ripstop nylon. Yes, fuck, I got it right the first time. I didn't even need to start over.